957-202-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Up next, Hard Drive, brought to you with the compliments of Rambali's Funeral Parlor, JJ's Paradise, and Joseph Shipping Agency. Joseph Shipping Agency, the only agency in St. Lucia with 24 hours efficient service. When everyone else is asleep, we are awake. Call Joseph Shipping at 484-8888. That's 484-8888. Joseph Shipping Agency. Now, at JJ's Paradise, we are offering day pass specials for adults at a cost of $75 BC and children $45 BC, which includes pool access, one free drink, lunch, buffet style, and dessert ice cream. Children over 12 years will pay the adult price. Book a room for an additional $165 BC from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call JJ's at 721-7693. That's 721-7693. And book a day pass package at JJ's Paradise today. Towels not provided.
At Rambali's Funeral Parlor, we truly care. During life's most difficult moments, we want you to know you are not alone.
At Rambali's, we are dedicated to providing dignity, compassion, and comfort when you need it the most.
Our caring team is here to walk with you every step of the way, whether it's in planning a gentle farewell or celebrating the beautiful life of your loved one.
We understand how precious they are, and we promise to honor their memory with the utmost respect and love.
Let us help you find peace and solace during this challenging time.
Please reach out to us at
758-452-2021, Castries, or 758-454-9239, Latuni, Viewfort, or visit us at ramballysfuneral.com.
We're here for you, ready to listen, support,
and serve with heartfelt compassion. You can lean on us.
At Rambali's,
we care.
Hello there, good morning, good afternoon, good night to our listeners and to our viewers in St. Lucia and across the globe, especially those of you on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X, and also on DBS Television. Welcome to Hard Drive for today, Wednesday, the 9th of July. Let's say good morning to the course of the show, to my immediate left, none other than Tony Paul. Tony, good morning.
Fellas first.
Yeah, you have to change the thing up, you know what I mean? It can't be boring.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, Andre. Good morning, everyone. Hear me? You hear me this morning? Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Andrew. I'm on the up and up.
That's
yes.
With all that energy, right?
You
That
know
is
what
good.
I'm
Starting
That's
off that
compared
way.
to yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good thing. High five.
Whoa. So,
Too bad you can't get one. You're so far away.
We'll look at that later.
Welcome, one and all. As Andrea already said, on X, on Facebook, and also
YouTube
everywhere.
and DBS Television.
Everywhere. And, of course, the other places, the other platforms that you listen. Welcome, one and all. Andre, how are you?
Oh, let's introduce Sheena.
Sheena Easton?
Oh, wow. I'm Sheena today. Okay, let me walk into, Sheena.
Sorry about that. That's what happens when you wear many caps.
I know, right?
You're all confused.
My name is Sheena for today, okay?
I like it.
I like it too.
Sorry about that.
No, nothing to be sorry about. I'm Sheena.
Introduce Keena.
No, I'm Sheena.
I know some people take that.
Go ahead, say it.
Boy, some people want you to get their name.
Yes, they do.
That's
They
right.
do.
That's right.
Not me. I'm good. I'm gay. It's all right.
What you say, you gay?
I'm gay. I'm coming out. I want the world to know.
Once upon a time, and that's long before your time, Kitchener had a song. You know who Kitchener is?
Lord Kitchener?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you remember that song, Mass in Madison Square Garden?
No.
You remember that one?
No.
And in that song, he used to say, have a good time, a gay time in crazy Manhattan. Is Mass in Madison Square Garden.
I had to imagine.
And imagine,
I know that song.
say a gay time back in the day.
Oh.
Yeah, back in the day.
Wow.
I mean, we just felt gay was just a
merry.
I mean, a merry time.
It's just have a merry time, right?
Yes, that's a have a gay.
You know that song? Mass in Madison Square
Only
Garden.
if I hear it, I'll go, oh, okay.
I'm sure you will.
I'm sure you
will.
know it. I'm sure you do. Maybe you just right now you can't remember, but I'm sure you do.
If I knew this, it's a top nice song, eh?
Yes, how you been? That was I think maybe that was Road March. I think if I'm not mistaken, in Trinidad.
But do you know the name of the song, though, Andre?
Mass in Madison Square Garden.
Mass in Madison Square Garden.
Punch that up. What?
Go ahead with the
Never played
conversation.
it. I don't know, and I thought I knew a lot of all Kitchener songs.
Yeah,
the
man.
top song, especially the Road March one.
Now you know, Tony, I always, because I admired him a lot.
Kitchener.
Oh man, and I always wanted to meet Kitchener. And guess what? We came that close to meeting that he was staying at the Green Parrot. He was supposed to come over to do a live interview. And he said that
where were you at the time? Radio St. Lucia?
Radio 100, right.
Okay.
100.
Okay.
He was supposed to just come over and something came up. And I remember he was nice enough to call to explain his reasons for being unable to come. And I heard the man's voice like, Monsieur, I missed that. I missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he eventually passed. So I never had a chance to meet him.
Yeah.
Sparrow as well. One time, I think Russell was trying to organize a meeting with us that will actually be on the air with us live. Man, Tony, I look forward to that so much. And thank God Sparrow is still alive.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened. Things didn't work out, but he actually called the show and we actually had a conversation.
All right.
And I found he was just so humble.
Yes.
Sparrow. He was just so humble when he spoke.
Yeah, Sparrow.
I was like, what, boy?
I had the opportunity, Andre, and I enjoyed it. I interviewed Sparrow.
So you actually face to face?
Live. Him, just like we're talking here right now.
Wow.
Yeah, that was in St. Croix.
Yeah. A lot of our listeners, have
In
no
the
idea who
80s,
we're talking
I
about.
imagine.
But boy,
80s, yes.
80s.
80s,
Right.
yeah, he's great. He's
and
great.
Sparrow?
Yeah.
Andre Sparrow is amazing. And of course, back then I was young in interviews and all of that. You know what I mean? Green, that kind of thing. Didn't know much. But boy, I enjoyed it. And Andre, the last thing I asked him to do is, they call him Birdie. So I asked him, why Birdie? Well, of course, the Sparrow name. Sparrow is a bird. I say, you always do these sounds. Can you just do something for me? And Andre went, and it was funny. It was amazing. And he just did to watch his face do it. The expressions and you know what I mean.
He's
different.
Great man.
Oh,
He's great.
I look at him and I'm like, yeah, this is the mighty Sparrow.
I mean, when Sparrow is gone, I mean, from this planet, right? We won't have time to play his songs.
You betcha.
I mean, there just will not be sufficient time.
That's
Right. There won't be.
Because the catalog is vast.
Sparrow started, so it seems as though because of our ages, you and myself, because of our ages, and Mama said that when Andre was a little boy, couldn't even really talk yet. He was singing, whoa, 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 Maria.
Yes.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Sparrow been around that long?
Yeah.
That Andre was a baby? And Sparrow was already singing? Maria?
Had the best one, Tony. Sparrow came to St. Lucia. He was performing either at Gaiety or Clarkson. I can't remember which one of them. And Mama and Papa took me there. I don't know if you were there.
No, I'm not.
Yes, and Sparrow was just singing that night.
You serious?
Yes, man. And
so much history, though.
Yeah, and had a thing.
How you remember them?
Had a thing. Sparrow asked Mama to come on stage.
No way.
to dance.
No way.
And Mama can't dance.
She couldn't dance.
Can't dance. So the crowd was roaring.
So she went on stage?
Of course.
Oh, wow.
I don't understand. Your memory, and you might have been like, you may not remember how old
were you? 7?
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
And you remember that?
All I know is that when she went on stage, I felt embarrassed. As I know. She couldn't dance. She couldn't dance. She doesn't like Donald Trump. You ever see Donald Trump dance?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
He's under trying it for me live. I can't. Try not to get me on the floor today, please.
Oh gosh, let me tell you, I wish we were on a Friday where today is like Friday. Let's loosen up, you know what I mean?
Friday. Let's say free up
Free up
Wednesday.
Wednesday, you know what I mean? Andre is killing us here this morning.
So I got the song along the kitchen of Mass in Madison Square Garden.
All right.
You want to hear it?
No.
You could think.
Yeah,
But when I was
later.
looking for it, right, it came up with, I did put Mass in Madison Square Garden and Lord Kitchener. Maybe the internet, does what it wants. And it came up with Pope Francis. It came up with Pope Francis, Mass in Madison Square Garden. And I had to type again. I was like, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I asked for.
Yeah. AI.
Yeah. But Andre, one more joke before you move on. I heard you reading is it the J's? Yeah, and just Buffet.
Buffet?
Yeah. What's it?
What did you say, Buffett?
Since we're talking about our grandmother and all, might as well go there. You know, the American thing is buffet. But you say buffet.
Oh, yeah, buffet, man.
It's buffet. Look like mama. Sound with them with you. Buffet. Like, remember the clock? She said, "Boy, clock too should lie." I mean, Mama, what's the man name? Clock. I said, "No, man, the man is clock." Sound with them with you. Clock.
Listen, you're really trying to get me on the floor today. It ain't gonna work. I'm sitting. I ain't going.
No. When she burst a while ago, I remember the floor. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Laughter therapy for the soul.
Oh yeah,
it feels
most
good.
Definitely.
Wow.
So can we move on?
Oh yeah. We can.
Let's move on to Tomazo. Let's go to Tomazo. Good morning to the folks in Tomazo, the Tomazo community. Today at the Tomazo Bread Place, they have Bax Bouillon with dumplings, Tanya and pumpkin. Now that's a nice bouillon. That's a nice bouillon. I love Tanya.
I love Tanya.
Me too.
Love Tanya.
Oh man.
Ooh, that just melts in your mouth if it's done right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's Bax Bouillon with dumplings, Tanya and pumpkin. That is real food.
That's right.
That's the real
He's
deal.
always said it, with
That is real.
conviction.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
That
it's
is
true.
real.
It's true. It's true. And a little later, if we have the time, I will talk about, the U.S. now banning certain dyes and so on, certain ingredients that they put in food, because this thing is just dangerous,
Oh, gosh.
Oh my
It's creating a
gosh.
lot of problems, a lot of health issues. And unfortunately, the U.S. moving forward, UK moving, more advanced countries moving forward, we're still behind. We're still behind in changing our rules and regulations, because we still allow a lot of stuff to come here that is just not good for consumption.
Okay, since
Yeah.
until you said hair, I was like, okay, are you talking about us?
Saint Lucia.
Saint Lucia.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Caribbean
We
as
allow
well.
it.
A little third world country. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
but
yeah.
but I mean, if the US they're making the changes, we can make the changes as well.
To make changes as well.
Yeah, because they're protecting themselves, of course, and their people, and here we are, we're just allowing our people to consume those things. Haven't you noticed the number of people who are coming down with all kinds of ailments?
Between
yes.
ailments, Andre, and remember with a big belly, I keep the big bellies are a thing,
as for that now.
Women and men.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's a thing.
It's like, you can only have the flat stomach until about your 20s.
There you go,
And as soon
that's
as
right.
you pass the 20s going,
Yes.
get ready for it.
Remember, we're
And
not
even
talking
now, some
everyone.
individuals
You
who
know what I
are
mean?
not in their 20s, they still have somewhat of a, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, so these foods, man, they're doing a number on us. But as I said, we may get to that a little later. So when I say about things like the Bax Bouillon, the Tanya, the pumpkin, that's the real food. That's the thing that promotes good health. Yeah. Of course, at the Tomazo bread place, you can get your regular sea moss flavors, including coconut, ginger, peanut, and peanut punch, and regular sea moss with flaxseed and chia seeds. Yeah, I know, Tony, your favorite is the peanut butter, right?
Definitely.
Peanut, yeah. peanut.
Oh,
I think
gosh.
it's everybody's favorite.
When I sampled that, I went, wow. I swear to you, I
Yeah.
did a double take on
Yes,
that.
yes, it is.
It's that good.
Yes, it tastes really good, really
Rich.
good.
You know what I
Smooth.
mean?
And-
Smooth.
and there's
rich.
there are no grits.
That's right.
Right.
Because so you have the drink, and at the end of the grits, someone's like you ruin the experience with the grits.
So she really does know how to make sumos, and she does it well, because a lot of people do it really thick, and like you said the last time, you have to kind of
Yeah. Shake it. Yeah.
somewhat
For me, the grits are similar to when I used to go to the cinema back in the day, and you buy those the patch nuts. And then you there, because you can't see inside the cinema, it's darkness. So you there chewing that, man. Oh, everything tastes nice. And sometimes the last peanut is burnt.
So that's what stays in your
That
mouth.
just ruins
You know
the
what I
whole
mean?
experience,
That's
man.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, last one is burnt.
Yeah, but that was the thing, man. Buying peanuts to go
Totally.
into the
yeah.
cinema, and you eating that while you're watching them. That was just special.
Yes,
man.
you know that back in the day, that's what we had.
Yeah.
Either peanuts or maybe ice cream.
Hey,
A cone?
Andre, the Shaded.
You used to get shadows as well.
What?
at the cinema.
What?
Yes. I
That was
remember
my
that. I remember
favorite
that.
thing. You go there and you decide and you're peeling your shad.
Yes.
I know my mom back in the day on a Sunday she would take us walking and there was this lady selling peanuts and it was my pleasure to just kind of peel it off.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So we used to do that in the cinema and leave a trail of destruction.
That's right. That's right. For whoever is to clean it,
No way.
the place was a mess.
A
Because
mess.
everybody did it. You go to, like, you, me, he, she, everybody. You have your peanuts and your shad that. And what's the other thing you mentioned again?
It just
There was another
Ice cream,
thing that-
ice cream with a cone. With a
Whatever.
cone.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
You made a mess there, man.
Yeah, that's how it was back in the day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we were nasty, man. It's true. I remember I went, anyway, forget about that. I would say that one. I would say that part.
You go to Caribbean cinemas?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Okay.
It's a different experience.
Did you like buy the drink and maybe the popcorn and so on?
Yeah.
But we leave the thing in the same way, right? In by our
No,
seats?
we take it out. Nah, that's the different era now.
you
We
put
take
it
it
in
out
the
now, and you put it in the receptacle that's provided. Yes. So it's a different kettle of fish. But back in the day, man, where you sit is where you just drop that right there.
Notice
Yeah.
I'm asking that, and you, both of y'all answer in the affirmative, because I don't go. I don't go.
You don't go to the cinema?
I probably in the entire existence of Caribbean cinemas, I probably went there twice, maximum 3 times.
When you have children, you don't have a choice. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, they'll tell you, I want to go and watch this, want to go and watch that.
Yeah. I saw the trying to remember her name because I think the movie was named after her. Big black girl who was the lead actress in the movie. I think it's Jennifer Lopez was also in that movie. Precious.
That's Gabrielle Sidibe or
Something like that.
Sort.
Right.
Yeah, she won
I
an
saw-
Academy Award for her role in that.
In that Precious. I saw Precious there and I'm stuck. I can't remember anything else. I swear to you.
I've been there so many times. Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, X-Men.
You saw that as well?
X-Men, yes.
Ah.
X-Men. I saw X-Men.
There's a new Jurassic Park that's out, you know. It's the latest one. Yeah, it smashed at this at the box office. A lot of money for that last weekend there. Yeah. So Jurassic Park, the latest one is out. I think there's a Superman movie supposed to be coming out as well.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
And there's one with Brad Pitt as well, the new F1 movie that he starred
Yes,
in.
yes,
It's
Brad
doing
Pitt is in
really
that.
well on, yeah.
So a few of them, and they're in the making.
I know for Keena, but I'll still ask anyway. But I'm going to go with Andrea first. Are you the type who can just go to Caribbean cinemas, sit down there by yourself? and
Yes, of
enjoy a
course.
movie?
I've done it many times. Yeah, many times.
Keena?
I think
like I
just
said, I
go
kind
on,
of figure, you're like that.
Yeah.
Andrea, why?
Yeah, many
just so by
times.
myself?
Yeah.
That's a date thing.
Yeah. But once upon a time, I didn't date for how many years?
And you
Yeah.
went, and you went, yeah.
Yeah, I was inside there regular.
That was your date.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also important, you know, especially when you're single, to make time for yourself, you know, and do fun things. Yeah.
Fun things by yourself.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's
yeah.
important.
Yeah,
it's very important.
I find I was most productive at that time. Yeah, it's true. When you have a lady in your life, you have to make time
you have
for
to
them.
you have to make time for them, yeah.
Yeah.
The world revolves around the woman.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to something very important. Tony, I know you listen on a Tuesday evening to Doctor in the House. So I imagine last night was no different. I imagine, or maybe you're sleeping. Okay, so you missed
The
it.
thing on from start to from start to almost finish.
Imagine, Keena, that show was supposed to finish at 7. We went until 7:30.
That's what that really.
It was so good. It was so good. There was a psychiatrist that we had in there. His name is Dr. Julius Gillard. All right, and he was talking about parenting, right, and the different types of parenting. It was just so good. And he spoke about the 4 different types of parenting styles. And he says one is the authoritative parent, and this one is warm and structured. There's the authoritative. Then you have the authoritarian. And I was saying to him last night, we came from that era, Tony, the authoritarian.
Right.
This is the one that is not warm, harsh. Yeah, they tend to be harsh. They come and talk to you, and you could see the fire in their eyes. You ever had that one, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
When Luck used to come after you, because you see fire in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they come at you and the anger, and that's how they discipline. So they're not warm at all. He spoke about, let me see, the other one again, the authoritarian and the permissive parent. The permissive parent, they say this one is warm but not structured. The permissive parent, in other words, do what you please. You know, it's like you can't do anything wrong, kind of thing. And he also spoke about the neglectful parent. That's the one that's not present. Okay, that one is just not present. And I think that's he mentioned in particular people who have businesses. Have businesses. They're always at work. They're never there with the child. And I was saying to him, I was asking the psychiatrist, what about the situation where maybe you have one parent who's there and the other one is in the business and not having the time? And he said there's still a gap. Because even if you have the one parent, and I think a lot of us say things like, oh, I raised my child by myself, kind of thing. He said, no, the child still longs to have a connection with the father or the mother, whoever is absent, they still long for it. Yeah. So to say I did a great job and so on, and he says it's just a question of time. He says all these people who came from those kinds of environments, when they come to him, then you hear the real story. So a lot of single moms are thinking that they're getting the job done. And he says when the kids from those kinds of environments come to him, to his office, then you hear everything that comes out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed that. Because the radio was on. Again, dozing off and so on, and I swear I heard, and I'm like, okay, all right. But Andre. And at 6:35, I turned it off because I went to watch ABC World. Was it World? ABC World, World News?
It was, I tell you, it was so good. We went an extra half hour. And there's something important I think I need to say, just in case most of our listeners and viewers right now missed it. I asked him to explain what he meant by the person, the authoritative parent who is warm and structured, right? So he said that that person who is warm, that person will be kind, the person will be empathetic. Remember we spoke about those things there recently?
Yeah.
The person is kind, the person is empathetic, the person is compassionate, right? And they show concern for other people. That's the warm parent, but they're also structured, right? There are boundaries that they set. And if you break those boundaries, there are consequences to that.
Consequences.
And remember, we've spoken about that already.
Yes.
If you see the child doing something and you know they've gone astray, and you have to institute some kind of discipline, right? So that discipline may be literal licks, that's one. Or you may use some other technique, which is to talk and to try to negotiate with you and explain things to the child. So, but something that's really, really important. I tell you why. I asked him, I said to him, those qualities, right, about empathy and compassion, is a parent supposed to teach that to their children? He gave a very interesting answer. Now, I thought you had to teach it, because I said to him, if I see my son hitting his sister, I'm supposed to say, do not hit your sister, don't hit females, and this sort of thing. He didn't say that. He said that the parent is supposed to model the lifestyle of the warmth, the compassion, the empathy that we spoke about some time ago. He said the parent is supposed to model that, and the children will see it.
Yeah.
That was so powerful. And Tony, you know why I say it's powerful? Because you remember the way, well, of course, Papa had his style, and you know Mama, she was the one that was the warm one. She was the one that was the empathetic, and so remember the way she treated her friends. Don't talk about relatives. Mama was big on family. The way she treated the relatives, like we spoke about that already. If a relative were to come all the way from down south, and back in those days, like take you 3 hours to get to the city, you'd be sure of a place to sleep.
Yeah.
You'd be sure of a meal, right, Tony? Even if it meant she has to take you out to feed the person. That's just the way she was. So now we growing up in that kind of environment, it was just obvious that you see that, and this is what, even if she didn't directly say to us, you have to be that way. This is what you see, and you tend to model that. I found out just so powerful when he said that.
Be that model.
Yes.
For your children. I get that. Andrew, just inject something there, but as you say, our relatives, for example, our Aunt Tio and so on, Tio would come kind of often, and she would most times overnight.
Yes, of course.
Where would she sleep, Andrew? Do you remember?
That's a good question you're asking, Tony.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but she slept somewhere.
She slept somewhere. You understand?
Mama, maybe with her or something.
Yeah. Auntie Adele, same way too. Maybe on the same bed. But remember, Dawn slept a lot with Mama. Yeah? Maybe the three of them would be on the bed.
Maybe so.
Maybe
yeah,
Dawn would remember.
she'd make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
She would make it happen, boy. That's just the way she was. So when he said that about the parent modeling that sort of lifestyle, I asked him. I said, "What about those children?" Because the thing about crime also came up, boy, as to what's happening there with the crime and criminals and the criminal behavior. He said that he speaks to those individuals at the Bodley Correctional Facility, at the boys' training. He says he speaks with them, and you hear the thing. These young men are just responding to what was done to them when they were kids and so on. They had it bad, especially they came from this authoritarian kind of environment, right, where it's the boss and I do this and do that. And he says those kids are all messed up. They just messed up and they just react. Every time that's just their way of reacting, and they don't feel empathy for anybody. They can take somebody, Now, I said to him, when one of these people say were to go and to kill 3 people, that's what happens in St. Lucia. He said they feel it, Because I was told one time these fellas can go and just have a drink on that. Yeah. He said, no, that's not the case at all. They feel it. They go for a rough time, but what they do is just suppress that. They just pretend as though it doesn't exist. Yeah. So I found that was interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting that all of that was said last night and I missed it. So hopefully next time I will not. But we often forget.
It's on Facebook, huh? It's on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, so, I'll go back to view it actually.
Yes, it's worth viewing.
Yeah, I'll go back
Doctor
to
in the
view
House,
it on
watch it on
Rev-Up
Facebook.
St. Lucia's Facebook page, on YouTube as well, and X. So we often sometimes forget that we are the first blueprint for how our children live. And you spoke about empathy. If a child is raised in a household like that, it becomes their standard. There's no way that if you're raised in a household with such empathy and great and everything else that the doctor mentioned, there's no possible way that you're just going to be any different.
Yes.
And as well,
I mean, there's always an exception to the rule.
It does depending happen, on what happens.
But generally.
And the other thing too, sometimes, a lot of the times, some parents or maybe guardians or siblings and so, we would see children acting out and we throw it away. Oh, you just didn't get what you want and that's okay. Behave yourself. Go and sit down. But sometimes a child growing up in a single parent household, they might be missing the father.
Not might. He said no.
And they're acting out.
They are. He said they want the connection.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the mother is so well, quote unquote, doing a good job. They still long for that connection.
Long for the father. I can speak for me, right? My dad lived abroad, and there's certain times he was not around, and I yearn for that, like, graduation and so on. There's certain things. And I always used to wonder, but why isn't he there? Why couldn't he be there? And when you miss that connection, it's a yearning. And for a lot of children as well, you become jealous because you see your friends. I don't have aunts and uncles. My mom is St. Lucia and my father isn't. So my mom is the only child. So I grew up in an environment with just my mother, right? And her friends and so on, an extended family. So every time I saw my friends and, they were their aunts and they were their uncles and their cousins, that huge, I was like, oh, I wish I had an aunt. I wish I knew what that was like. I was a lot older, older in my adult years, when I now had that connection with my aunts and uncles on my father's side because they lived abroad. And that connection is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I missed that for all these years.
Yes, imagine that.
Yeah.
And you said something a while ago about children acting up. That also came up in the program. And I said to him, what about those parents who are now struggling with those children who are acting up, as you said a while ago? They're behaving strangely, maybe the drinking, maybe the drugs, whatever, and all, the gangs and so on. He said that when that means there's something wrong, okay? Something has happened that has caused the child to behave like that. And he said what you have to do is to take that child to get some help. Go see a professional.
Some parents,
because this is beyond you.
Parents do that for whatever reason.
Because parents feel as though maybe they can handle it, but you really can't. Yeah.
And that's what happens. And we too, we would say a lot of parents do raise their children well. But we really have to take stock of it and try to get to the root cause of the problem, because so many of our young men are on the block. Why are they on the block? Children were playing maybe by the like they would play on the playing field growing up, and that sort of thing. That's what they were into. Or maybe playing video games at one point in time. Now that's not really the case. They are on the block. They are
and he's saying there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that.
There's a
because
reason
that's
for it.
where, when they go there, they feel at peace. They're welcomed. Sometimes, depending on the household that they grew up in, there's no food on the table. And they end up going there, and maybe someone has a packet of biscuit, and all of them share it. It's like it becomes their family, right? And they find more peace in that place as opposed to home. And a lot of times, again, you have parents, whether it be mothers or family members, when that child is in the household, all they hear is arguing. Constantly. Every single day is arguing, and they're verbally and physically abused. And what they do, you know what? If I go home, that's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
So the next best place to be is on the block. You know? Where
it's all fun, it's all the boys, you know, and kind of enjoyment, and you kind of start liking what you're getting out there. You're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like Keena said, you're sharing things.
And it should be exactly what you're describing.
Yes.
Should be in the home.
That's right.
In the home.
That's
So we have to say, boy, those children who are fortunate enough to come from the authoritative environment, they are very fortunate.
Yes, very much so.
But let me ask you all, how can we as men and women try to, I mean, nobody's perfect, but try to ensure that we get to that stage where we, in an environment where we have the authoritative parents. How do we ensure that we can get there? Because if we don't, we're now putting the children now in this authoritarian environment, or the permissive environment, or the neglectful. You understand? So we have, as adults, need to be making some good decisions, good choices, to protect ourselves and to protect the offspring that are going to come around one day. Because if we don't get it right, well, I mean, nobody gets it right. Nobody gets it right. You know. But if I'm saying we could limit the possibility of children becoming truant and behaving badly and getting involved in gangs and so on, by making some better decisions. Because I'm saying, as I said, the children who come from that kind of environment, they're very fortunate to have parents who are warm, right? Who are warm and who, of course, set boundaries and so on.
You know, my thinking is this, while you're asking this question, it's like, gosh, there's no handbook for parenting, as far as I know, because every situation is different. Okay, how do you learn to be a good parent? Now, it probably started from the great grands to the grands and the down, you know what I mean? That way. So you learn. For example, I've said it in a few shows before, maybe a long time ago. A grandparent or grandparents are better able to parent their grandchildren than they did with their own children, because basically you learn. It's a learning process. What you did with yours, you figure that was wrong, so you kind of understand better now, and you treat the grandchildren better. Children always tell you about my grandma. We're going to try a thing. We know about our grandparents. We know about that. I'm going to try a thing right now. I'm not sure she ever spoke about it. Your grandparents, or whether mother side, father side, were they around when you growing up?
My mom's parents died maybe when she was a few months old or something.
Okay.
So they were not around.
So you didn't have grands then?
No, I didn't. I had great grand.
Great grand?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh my God, that lady was amazing.
Say no more. Imagine a great grand.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm saying this because even our grandparents, Andre, grandmother in particular, I don't know if you're aware of the story. He wasn't all that great with our mother. I don't know if you're aware of the stories. You know what I mean? She wasn't she didn't raise our mother. Right. So in her not doing that and picking us up, she learned along the way kind of thing. You know, and she was just, as we keep saying, she was just great, you know, grandmother. Our mother was not a great parent. You understand?
like Tony said, there's no parenting handbook. You learn as you go along, and some people never do because of the environment that they were raised in. But I think we need to make a conscious effort as parents, just before we become parents, to be more empathetic, to be more understanding, to say, okay, well, you know what, I grew up in an abusive environment, or I grew up in an environment where I was lacking in many different ways. I was lacking an emotional connection with my mom or dad. My father wasn't around. Let me not be an absentee father. We have to make a conscious decision to say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do when I do have a child, and begin the process before that child comes along.
Yeah, but that's what I was asking the question a while ago. How now can we ensure that it's not just only you being like that, which is a good thing, but suppose you choose somebody who is harsh. So that's what I was saying. How can we ensure that we bring up, well, before we have children, that we have that kind of environment that is nurturing, that is warm and caring and compassionate, right? You can learn to be like that. That is true, and that's a good thing. But if you have somebody else in your life who's not like that, you still have a problem.
But again, we also
so don't you
need
think?
to.
Don't you think? Let me ask the question. Don't you think that if we are choosing somebody to be in our lives, that we need to look for those qualities as well?
That's what I was about to say. We need to look for those qualities
Yeah.
as well. It's very important, because a lot of times we look on the surface level of things. That person is a provider. He could just, provide for the house, and that's fine. And he treats me badly, or she treats me badly, and that's okay. But when you bring a child, for you might think it's okay. It's not okay, because you're being affected by it emotionally, mentally, spiritually. When you bring a child into that household, though, you're the one who's dealing with it. A child now compounds the situation.
Exactly.
And it becomes worse.
So I wonder how many of us really, I mean, even at our age right now, consciously look out for those things.
I don't think so.
A friend of mine
Some
was telling me something, and I know, I've seen the young lady. She's gorgeous. A gorgeous young lady. I think maybe mid-20s or somewhere around there. And he was telling me they went on 3 dates, and he said not once did she thank him. Yeah. He said not once did she say thank you. No matter what he did, she was just not like a grateful. But she's gorgeous. He showed me a picture of the guy. I said, Miss, yeah. That's a beaut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's beautiful. Okay. So Harry is now, although he's young, he's asking himself some questions. Is this somebody he could spend his life with?
Train her.
Yes. There might be a reason she's like that. And it could stem from the environment that she grew up in. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's ungrateful. It could mean that she doesn't know how to express it. So maybe she'll say things in other ways by not saying it outwardly. And maybe he's missing that. Other times, some people just don't know how to say thank you.
So assuming now that he decides to stay with her, and she's beautiful, but she has those issues. Now, you know what the future is going to look like if she doesn't try to work on herself.
It's a conversation that he should have with her. Communicate effectively. You've already picked up on that. Hey, you know what I realize? And the person's response would be what sets the tone as to, hey, am I going to make the decision to really stay with this person? And whether there are changes after that conversation happens.
So I'm glad you said that. We need to have that conversation. I think maybe that's where we mess up, that we don't have a conversation with the person. We just see them that way, and maybe sometimes we feel embarrassed to even say that to them.
Because you don't know what the person's response is going to be.
Exactly. And another thing, because also there's a possibility you may hear, well, who are you to come and tell me about my shortcomings? And you have yours as well. You get that response as well.
Yeah.
Okay? So... Anyway, so I just found it was just a great show last night. I mean, I really learned a lot. And even the psychiatrist, he was telling me that he has a son, and he says the son is like introverted.
Okay.
Right? And no doubt he's having challenges as well. And he said something that's very important. I hope those in authority are listening. He said that Bodily does not even have a counselor. Yeah. So not one.
Oh, wow.
Like somebody that's their job.
But
I
I thought...
thought...
You want to say it, or you want me to say it? When they built Bodily, one of the things that they said is like it's a rehabilitation center kind of thing.
And no doubt they have programs.
Right.
They have programs. You can do your CXCs. You can do this. You can see, whatever. That's to help you to get back together.
Right.
But I mean, to have, in fact, you cannot have one. You need quite a few because you talk about over 500 individuals who are there. So it's something that the authorities need to look into, because he says, just what do you think is going to happen when these guys they leave?
They have repeat offenders.
It's the same thing.
Right.
It's called recidivism. I love that way. I can say it right. Yeah. So that's the reality. Now I forgot to ask him about the Boys Training Center if they have counselors there, which I believe they do.
They probably do.
Because the numbers are a lot less.
Right.
But body, you need quite a few. You can't just have one. But you're saying that there's no psychiatrist there. So the work of the psychiatrist is extremely important, especially for these people who have been through trauma and so on. Yeah, it's really, really important. And it just reminds me of a movie I saw a long time ago. There's a true story. I think that was in Russia. There's this serial killer. And when I watched the movie, they caught the guy. And they had strong suspicions that he was the one involved in all these killings of women and so on. And the police, of course, were using what they know is the strong arm tactic, right? Talk and maybe even abusing the guy as well. That's a possibility. He never broke down. And one person said, you know something? Let's bring a psychiatrist in here and see what happens. And the psychiatrist sat with the guy for about an hour, and the guy spilled all the beans.
You said psychologist?
Psychiatrist.
Psychiatrist.
Yeah, because he was not of sound mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So the psychiatrist knew exactly how to get to him, how to speak with him, to bring up all the muck and the dirt and the the guy broke down. He broke down.
Yeah.
But you see, as I was saying, was it yesterday I was saying the government now in tackling the crime problem, they use the strong arm tactic, which is good. It has its place. But there are other things now, what they call soft power. And this is where you have people like the psychologists and so on who come in and they know how to negotiate.
That's right. That's their job. They're trained.
They're trained.
Exactly. Unfortunately, in our society, if you go see a psychiatrist, people will think that you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so necessary. Andrew, I've said it before on other programs. Every one of us have our issues, and we can seek professional help, honestly, because you just have issues, and you sit down. Let me tell you, Pastor Phil, who is now Dr. Phil,
he called us
last call on the program. He does that as well.
And by the way, we're going to be having him soon on Rev-Up.
I look forward to that.
I look forward to that as well.
Okay? You can go sit and talk to him, and of course he's a professional, so you got to pay for it.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But that kind of thing. But yes, that is so necessary, because we think sometimes we can deal with our issues that are inside, and but most times we can't, and we just live our lives a certain way, and but to each his own.
And
go
ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of the times some of us think that trauma has to be loud. And we have a tendency to judge other individuals as well. But trauma can also be very, very quiet, and people go inward with their thoughts and emotions and everything of that sort. And it becomes dangerous when that individual doesn't have the right resources and the right people around them to help them. And that's where we begin to have problems. And it starts from the household. It starts from the household, the individuals that are in our lives. And when trauma is not healed, it could turn that person into a monster. And sometimes you hear a lot of people say, that's how I am. Take it or leave it. That's how I am.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's not something that should be said. Because if one too many people are complaining, or not necessarily complaining, but saying, you know what, this is something that I realize is happening with you. Maybe you should, try to work on it. And all you say, that's how I am. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Nah, that's a problem.
Yes.
Right then. Yeah.
And one more thing that he mentioned is important, where the neglectful parent is concerned. He said that you could get that situation in a house or in a home or an environment where there are mental health issues. Okay, so the person is not of sound mind, but they have children. So that is a form of neglect, because they do not even know how to raise a child.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so that was important.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I missed that program. Usually I catch all of them. I just fell asleep. I dozed off.
The other thing I wanted to ask, though, now that you mention it, there might be so many with households in St. Lucia where they are parents of unsound mind and people don't even know.
Exactly.
And they have children, and children grow up in that environment, and they think that what mommy or daddy is doing is normal. Maybe they're just rude. Maybe they just want me to do the right thing. But that parent is of unsound mind, and they live in that.
And he also said something, and I guess we all know it's true. He said that everybody puts on a mask.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everybody puts on a mask. So you live you yourself at your home. That's when you're yourself. When you leave the house and you go outside there, you put on a mask. So because you become somebody that you're not. And it's true, because there's certain people you see looking bright and gay and happy and all that kind of. When you get to know them and you hear what's going on in their life, you said, "Whoa, how are you dealing with so much?" And you look like you're happy and gay all day.
Right.
And say, well, I can't let the world know I'm going through those things. Yeah. So we all, he said that. He said we all put on a mask, and it's true. So remember when Papa would leave the house, right? When he leaves the house, he's walking straight, no problem, right? He going and everything is fine and dandy. He's very nice. Remember, he's been nice. He's calling people, shouting people. Hey, he's a nice. Once you see he steps into the house, he's a different individual. Yeah, different individual. Then you see him for what he really is, and it's true.
Right.
It's perfect. Yeah, he come and say, "Where my got you, But when you see he's walking outside there, nowhere.
Straight.
Nowhere.
So you remember how many years he was complaining about the problems he was with?
Many years.
Yes.
Since we were young, you know what I mean? And I came back home. Of course, it was worse because it was a lot older.
Yeah.
He
always had a waist problem.
And then he, of course, he was bent. You know what I mean? By the time I got back home, he was bent, man.
So he'd leave the house and walk straight. Okay? He walks, when he gets back into the house, woman cafe mal.
Yeah, because he's mastered for so long, gone through many things, but the pressure is there. The pressure is on.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, imagine that. It's true.
And a lot of us do it, especially when it comes to illness as well, because we do not want to be judged or taken advantage of.
Yes. Yeah. Or we don't, especially for we men, we don't want to show or let you know that we have issues, health issues.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if I'm at my house and say, for example, maybe I played the night before and my waist is hurting me. Now, you're around me. I don't want you to see. I'm struggling to get up.
And be like, "Why?"
So I put my hand on the chair,
push yourself up. You're looking at the expert.
Yeah, and push myself up.
But if the person is really observant, they would know that something is wrong. Some people just don't really pay attention. They just say, "Okay." Poor job. Oh, jeez.
You do that?
How you been?
I have to because of my knees.
Yeah. I played the night before. I'm on my feet all night long. So by the time I get to my waist is hurting me.
You have to push yourself up.
Yeah. So instead of me, now, when you're young, you just pick yourself up.
Oh, yeah.
You just jump from your chair.
But nobody tells you about that, huh?
You know
Nobody
what I'm
tells you
So
at some point
you
in
don't
time
want
you
to,
will.
You want people to know.
Yeah.
You can't just stand up. So your boy is just a whole pretense. So that's the mask.
Yeah.
That's the mask, right?
Definitely.
Okay. Alrighty. I always use those words when it comes to things like tragedy and so on. The American Tourist.
Oh.
I saw the even before they found his body, his pic was already making the rounds. Social media doesn't play, boy.
Yeah.
Social media doesn't play. So this gentleman, his name is Travis Andrew Wyant. Apparently, we just for now have to assume it's a drowning because they found his body in the waters and so on. I think in the Rodney Bay area there. That's where they found him. So we don't know the circumstances that led to his death. We have to wait now until an autopsy is performed, etc., etc. However, I'll make a quick point, and this is something I keep saying. When you see it comes to St. Lucians and the way we treat our fellow St. Lucians who have fallen into crime or victims of crime and so on, right? We tend, just like when we're talking about the Gaza situation and vis-a-vis what happened to the children who died in the U.S. there by drowning. And remember, Tony was really empathetic at that point in time.
Yes.
Why? Because he says he can relate to the Americans and this sort of thing. Now, I find when it comes to St. Lucia, we don't use words, right? Generally, like sad that this happened, heartbreaking. We don't use those words at all.
No, we don't.
But it's a foreigner, right? And listen, I'm not knocking that. Don't misunderstand me, right? But I just notice it. Whenever you see you have those kinds of situations, and I've said it already, then you all of a sudden you hear the minister for this, minister for that coming out and making comments and condemning. And the other. When it comes to our own people, we just remain silent. Or we don't use words like sad to hear, right? What was the word you used, Tony, when you were speaking about it?
I think it's sad. I think I said it.
Okay,
that is so sad.
Yeah, it hurts
Yeah,
me.
that is so
It
sad.
hurts me to hear that. We don't use those words.
I was thinking with that person. Oh, by the way, remember I said I went to watch ABC World News tonight. It made.
Oh, that made the news?
Yes, it
Yes,
did.
yes, it made the news.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was just just a brief thing on it, but it made it. I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
You know
Imagine
what I mean?
that.
At the time he went missing, it was already in the news in the U.S.
Okay.
Yes, his sister, I saw a Facebook post. His sister was the one who actually posted his picture on a St. Lucia platform saying that he was missing. And obviously, and whatever else happened, maybe she alerted the authorities, maybe the hotel he was staying at did the same, and news stations took that information and put it out there. But it's heartbreaking
Here we go.
when we even when we're discussing it,
Here we
even
go.
here we say the
Here we
same thing
go.
as well.
Oh yeah, it is,
Yeah,
Andre,
it
because
is.
St.
When
Lucia,
anyone
it's
goes missing.
it's a tourist who came to our island to enjoy it and died here. Yeah. It's kind of almost on St. Lucia. What I'm hoping for, is that there's no foul play, that he just maybe fell into the waters and drowned. You
I
know?
noticed something where there was a search party. It included his family, the police force,
Yeah.
and also officials from the U.S. Embassy. That's how they take those things seriously.
Yes, that's the
And
Americans.
I think we
the
should be
Americans,
doing the same for,
For
our
our
people,
people.
here. When
Right.
All right.
someone
There you
goes
go.
missing, I think in some communities it does happen where the community themselves, members within that community come together to go in search for that missing person. But on a larger scale, we don't do that much about it. In Trinidad, it's a big thing. You hear of a missing persons, and you have the search and rescue team going with the dogs and the teams, and they backtrack the person from where the person was last seen, and there's a group of people that do that, and unless that person is not found, they don't stop.
In France, right, if a French national runs afoul of the law in St. Lucia and they have to incarcerate that individual, the French will come, pick him up or her up, and take them to France. Put them in the prison where they are in France, because they're concerned about their people as to how they are treated. Because they will not, it's like almost like they can't sleep at nights knowing that one of their own is someplace in some prison where they may be treated badly. I'm not saying they're going to treat them badly in St. Lucia, I'm just making the point as to how these people think differently. And I want to make the point again, when it comes to our people, we don't feel that kind of thing. We just figure as another St. Lucian has gone. How many St. Lucians are in prison in Martinique and so on, right? And I'm asking, I mean, maybe we do. How many do we follow up? Do we go and check on them? I'm talking about the authorities. Maybe they do.
Maybe they do. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is that policy that we follow up on those
I was
things? We
about
go and
to go
check
there.
on our people, even if they have run afoul of the law.
Right.
Are they being treated well? Are there things that they need? You understand?
I was about to go there, Andrew, with a big question. If that you started off by saying that if a French national is incarcerated, imprisoned here in St. Lucia, that the French would come and take that person and take them. Is that
To serve their time in France.
Is that right? Is that lawful? You know what I mean? Because the person committed the crime or whatever it is that they were jailed for here.
Committed a crime.
You understand?
Right here.
Yeah. You committed a crime here. Maybe you need to do the time here.
Well, okay. Well, let's talk about what's happening in the U.S. right now. They're shipping people back to St. Lucia. We're in prison. They're shipping them back to serve their time, or whatever way we decide to deal with it. That's how it happens.
They confirm that?
Right.
I don't
Say again,
recall.
say again?
No, I don't think there's any confirmation of them shipping prisoners from the United States to St. Lucia.
No, I'm not talking only about St. Lucia. I'm saying, look, the United States is shipping people who are criminals back to their country of origin. That's what they're doing.
Who are serving time in the
Criminals-
United States?
Yes, of course. How you mean?
I don't know about
I know
that.
if they have a criminal background or they have a pending court case or something. Or
You're not following the news, man.
So
that notorious prison that they sent him to in not El Salvador. What was the place again? This notorious prison that they sent him to. These guys are doing time in the U.S.
Bay?
Not Guantanamo.
No,
Well, even Guantanamo Bay is as well. Guantanamo Bay has a few. Yeah. Especially for those who do those egregious crimes.
But they were criminals.
And that's what Trump is saying. They don't want to be dealing with that problem. Get you out.
Well, he even said he's going to send Americans that commit crime overseas anyway. So
Yes. He's threatening,
also said that
he's threatening
too.
that. And I heard him this morning. I think he says he wants to take over Washington. He wants to take over Washington. I said, what is this guy talking about?
I don't even understand it.
Yeah, he wants to take over Washington, and I think some of the state, I think, is it New York, he said? I don't remember, but Washington for sure. He wants to take over. And of all things, Moji, I saw that last night, of all things, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, who is wanted for war crimes in The Hague, he has written a letter to the Nobel Committee recommending Donald Trump be given a Nobel Peace Prize. Can you believe this?
that's because he was the one that brought the two countries together when they were almost at war. I think it was India and Pakistan.
Yeah, okay, fine.
That's that.
But I'm saying, of all people to want to make a recommendation like that, a man who's wanted for war crimes, this will have no shame. They have no shame. Tell you wanted for war crimes, you're asking, it's almost like these guys think as though they are some privileged people and they have say and they have sway. And you're going to write to the Nobel Committee to tell them or recommend that they give Donald Trump a Nobel Peace Prize.
and instead of peace, Andre, I watched the news again. ABC News last night said that Donald Trump said that they will start back giving Ukraine.
Yeah, weapons and stuff.
Imagine that.
Another two. How could you be chosen for a Nobel Peace Prize when you go and bomb a country?
Right.
They bombed Iran just 2 weeks ago. They were bombing the daylights out of them. And imagine Israel was. Imagine you bombing a prison. There are people who are there who are serving time from other countries who may be there even unlawfully. The people are in the prison. If you think of that. They're what they call people that they're accused of spying and things like that. These people are inside. You just go and bomb the place.
Yeah.
People are there from Americans who are there, British people who are there, whoever. You just go and bomb the place. Just so. And you're telling me you want to come and recommend Monsieur get a Nobel Peace Prize again? First, I have no shame, man. They just know how to suck up to Donald Trump so they can get concessions, they can get things done for them. Yeah, you remember when Keir Starmer went to Donald Trump and he said to him, "This is unprecedented. I come with an invitation from the king. He wants to meet with you privately," and this kind of thing. Because remember that time the tariffs was hot.
Right.
So they're trying to suck up to him that he'll give them a break. But he has no friends. Yeah, he has no friends, man. Yeah, he'll let you have it, suck it to you. And by the way, keep in mind, he's made it clear already, those people are going to be linking up with BRICS. Right? He says they're going to be, putting tariffs up to 200%.
They're afraid. That's the problem, Andrew. They're afraid of the power that BRICS can have.
Exactly.
And they kind of already have.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the U.S. knows that if they move away, these are things now that they will not be getting, so you can tax it. So if they go to BRICS, that's money that will not be coming in. So he's telling them, if you go there, I'm going to impose tariffs up to 200% on you. That's what they call that's what they call the authoritarian parent.
That is why they voted him in.
Yeah, I guess so. And now the Supreme Court now, as I think they already ruled that they can fire a whole bunch of federal workers.
Yeah.
Because they had appealed that, and now it seems as though he'll get his wish now. He's firing people black as white. I wonder if those include people that vote for him.
Maybe. You never know. With him, everything is possible. I did some research. El Salvador was the country that accepted convicted criminals from the United States, but the other ones haven't accepted any.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But then he's exploring the option, but no other country has.
Okay.
So, yeah.
El Salvador.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Andre was saying, and it's true. Yeah.
Alrighty then. Let's get into the shout-outs.
Okay, on the WhatsApp platform at 10:03 a.m., Josiane was the first to chime in. She says,
Hey,
good
morning,
morning,
Josie.
Rev-Up family. The program with Lotus was great.
Yes, it was really, really good this morning. Yeah, you know what the topic was? Yeah, I guess you guys didn't get a chance to listen.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
When I came, Tony was listening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, talking about men being able to do chores around the house. And,
handyman is matter of fact.
being a handyman.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said that she was saying personally that turns her on. She likes to see a guy who's able to do those things.
I love to see a guy able to do those things as well. What you come
Back
in there,
your
just-
shirt and boy, let's go. I'm fixing this.
Papa's like
That's
that.
so
Exactly.
cool,
Andre,
though.
Jack of all
Yeah.
trades.
Just like well, man, maybe it's the house we grew up in. Well, man,
Yeah, me.
it's true. We grew up. We grew up seeing him doing it.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, I don't know about it.
No, man.
Just the
Just
way
so you're
we
going to
are.
have a pretty boy around the house, not
Yeah.
doing anything?
No. You do stuff. You do stuff. You do stuff.
You do
No,
what you
there are some
can.
people that accept a pretty boy around the house. I was dating this guy one time, and the guy couldn't even put a thing on the gas tank.
I was just thinking maybe.
You serious?
Yeah, man.
Well,
That's why I'm not there anymore.
That's taking a joke too far.
I couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Like seriously, I'm just playing, anyways. But I did. He couldn't. He struggled.
Yeah.
You know, mama's boy.
But I was saying this morning, there's certain things, right, that I'm not a pro.
Yeah.
The stove is not lighting, for example. I don't know about those things,
Yeah,
so I have to get a professional.
Yeah.
But at least I take action.
Yeah.
Give me some credit for
But that's
that.
not why we broke up. Just putting it out there. I was just playing about that. But yeah, there's some
But
guys that.
that's a valid reason to break up. Yeah, man.
No. And my brother taught me after that. I was like, you know what? I really need to know how to do this on my own.
I agree.
So I know
agree.
how to use a hammer. I know how to use a screwdriver and thing. I learned from my brothers. And you know, it's about even I'm just saying putting this out there, ladies, right? Sometimes you might not know how to do something, but try. You know, if someone is around and they're doing it, ask them to teach you. Because even though your partner might be doing it all the time, when he's at work, sometimes he gets home and he's tired. He's not going to be around all the time. So it's important now we too learn to do some things as well, so we could help out as well.
Andre, when you mentioned about, because you said it before on the program with us here, Hard Drive, that when Luck couldn't a whole day from 8 o'clock he started, 5 o'clock he came home, and he still was working on this
struggling
thing.
with that thing.
Andre, I can guarantee you he never had to call the plumber to do that same thing again, because he would stay there
And watch what you're
watch
doing.
everything that you're doing.
Cool.
Hand you the
Yeah,
tools, and he's saying, and he helping you, and you all have to hold something. He watching everything you're doing, and he ain't never calling you again.
I'm like that somewhat. Yeah, I'm like that somewhat.
One time he was like that. He had some problem with his vehicle, and he took the vehicle to this guy called Raymond. Right? Remember Raymond?
My favorite
Yeah.
part.
So Raymond was a kind of a
favorite
mechanic,
joke.
a kind of mechanic. So Raymond was fixing the thing, and my grandfather was there helping him. That's how he was just like that. So everything, he hold this for him and hold that for him and do this and screw that and so when the job was over now, he asked Raymond, how much I have for you? So Raymond probably said maybe what $50 or whatever. And back in the days, a lot of money.
I feel about between $400 and $500.
Oh, it was more than that.
You want me to finish it?
Yeah, finish it.
So this up to you. Yesterday on the program, I think it was. Yes, you know.
Yeah.
So my guy, he said, "What? For $400? You believe that I will pay you $400 for this job?" So Keena, the joke I finished. So then he went. He said, "All right, if I pay you $400, I work with you all day. How much you paying me?" Don't fall.
Are you serious? But I agree with him,
I was
though.
afraid if
I
Andre
agree.
forgot that part and he didn't give it. That's why I wanted to give it.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? Yeah.
Didn't say it's
Whole
okay,
day
let
I
me do-
helping you. You know what I mean? You want me to pay you? You believe?
You
I go-
believe is what took me out.
I know.
Why my share?
You believe?
Oh my gosh. Oh boy.
That's how he
My
was.
belly is me. I wasn't ready.
Yo, man. Okay, if I pay you $400, how much you paying me now? Because
That
I
should
work with
be
you.
200.
You know what I mean?
Half,
200 each half.
You know, I thought they would fight.
Yes,
really?
because-
I thought they would fight that day.
Oh, my word.
Because the guy was insisting here, he not paying him.
That's right. That's right.
I don't remember how they settled that.
True. Me too.
I don't remember how that was settled.
maybe he said, okay, well, give me less.
Give me
or something,
300 or
you know what I
something.
mean?
Most likely, yeah.
he
I'll
took
have to
less.
try that the next time. So I'll pay less.
So Andre, the guys who from Radio 100 when you were there, Are You Know became popular, but Are You Believe?
Are You
is
Believe?
real.
I you believe,
Are
boy.
You Believe?
Oh, means for the way.
Who means for the word? So, gentlemen and ladies, if you know the Are You Know, now you know Are You Believe. That is very real as well.
And he was just like that for Trino, Tony.
Andre.
He never let you do something by yourself. He always
Never.
come and assist.
Right.
Maybe there
whatever
was
he
a
can.
reason, so you'll pay less.
He tried everything.
He wanted to learn,
everything,
but he
yeah.
also wanted to pay less.
He tried everything. There's nothing he wouldn't
That's
try.
right. Jack of all
That's why he always
trades.
said, don't say dead until buried.
Very, that's right.
Oh.
That's how he was. That's how he was.
Right. He would put it down, tear it apart, and try to put it back up. Oh gosh, what a guy! But his main trade was like a carpenter.
He's
He
a carpenter.
was pretty good. He was pretty good at cut a saw in the wood.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
and build a
His
cage.
measuring tape.
Yes,
What
yes.
you said, build what?
Build a cage and
Build a
things like
cage.
that. Yeah.
He ever beat you with a saw?
You dropped that. Wait. You heard the joke, man.
Because back in the day, some grandparents or parents, what they have in their hand at the time,
you get in it.
and you do something wrong,
You get
that's
in it.
what you're gonna get
That's
smacked with,
They
right?
ain't putting that down, looking for something else to beat you.
Is what he had.
What you have in your hand anyway? And I just say he saw that
I
day.
actually saw it.
Busting my behind with a sawmiss. What?
I don't think you ever looked at a saw the same way.
Every time when I remember that, the beating that I got with a saw.
Oh gosh.
Gosh.
I had this friend of mine, I used to call him Spoon Attack.
What you call it? What?
Spoon Attack.
Spoon attack.
You chose
What does
His
that mean?
mother, she was cooking at the time and he was doing something and she just grabbed the spoon and pop, pop.
She beat him with a spoon.
From then, every time I saw him, wow, Spoon Attack, you good there? I don't do it anymore though, but that was just, between us because let me tell you, that was funny. We were at his mom's home and she was teaching us lessons, right? I think it was math or something. And she's like, okay, let me go prepare something to eat. And he just wouldn't listen. And let me tell you, the metal thing again in you,
The metal spoon.
pop, 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 pop.
Wait, what
And-
part of his body?
His head.
No, not true.
Yeah, pop, pop.
On
But
his
that's
head?
that's where he was all the time.
On his head?
He didn't, he was fine.
Oh, shit.
He was fine. As a child, you're like shocked. You're like, oh my gosh, no. Is mine coming next? So I sat on the chair like, okay. I'm like, I didn't do anything. But from then on, for me, it was Spoon Attack. I haven't called him that in a long time, though. But moving on now, Ivy Junior chimed in and she says, I just wanted to say, Andre, you're absolutely right. Sometimes we see the red flags early on, but we ignore them because we think things will change after marriage. We believe we can fix it or that love alone will be enough to transform the person. But the truth is, marriage doesn't magically change anyone. If anything, it often magnifies what is already there.
All right, Gina, all right.
And I think we make that mistake. You know why? I think that's my little humble opinion. Because there's so many other good qualities that we see.
That
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
see.
Yeah. So we don't want to let that go.
But if someone show you that they're devil in disguise once, that little devil hiding there, but it'll explode at some point in time.
Yes, sir.
Someone else says, today is Sparrow's birthday, a matter of fact. He's 90 today. Imagine that.
Wow. And we're just talking about the
Yeah.
guy.
Wow.
Okay, well, happy birthday to the
Happy
Barudi.
birthday.
Incidents, man. Wow.
Yeah, I wonder how he's going to be celebrating his birthday. He's not his health is not all
That's
that
right.
great.
That's
Not like
right.
yeah. Someone else chimed in and said, blessed and beautiful morning to Rev-Up family. How are you guys doing? By the sound of those voices, I could tell everybody's doing great by the almighty power of God bless. And I guess a beautiful day to you all. Love always, Lorena.
Lorena, special good morning to you.
Someone else chimed in and says, "Good morning, Andre, Tony, and Keena. There's a Facebook message which is being shared allegedly from the brother of the nurse who allegedly committed suicide. The gist of it is that she was being emotionally and psychologically abused by her dad, whom she was caring for after losing his leg. It seems that nothing she did was ever good enough. A truly sad story because she leaves behind 2 young children. Sometimes parents don't realize how much they hurt you with their words. May she rest in eternal peace." I'm sorry to hear that. Ouch, that's heartbreaking. Someone else says, "Good morning, Andre, Tony, and Keena. Andre Lotta spoke about women getting turned on seeing their partner, man, husband do work around the house. Our bro, some don't even notice when when the chores are done. Not even a thanks to them. It's your duty to get it done." So pretty much it's like women say they get turned on by men doing chores around the house, but after that's done, they don't say thanks.
Oh, okay.
So you're getting turned on, but you ain't saying thank you?
Yes, I think Lotus even mentioned that.
Right.
Yes, it'll be good to encourage the man by saying thank you for those things.
Should.
Yeah, thank you for fixing this. Thank you for fixing that. Yeah.
It's important. I have to agree. Someone else chimed in and says, "Blessings to all Rev-Up crew and family. Have a great, wonderful day." Thank you so much. Someone else chimed in and says, "Hey, good morning, Andre, Tony, Keena. It's always a pleasure listening to you all. Can you please say blessed morning to Miss Marie for me and Mr. Rekai? Blessed day to you both. And to Pastor Phil and his wife, please."
Okay. Yeah, special blessed good morning to the 3 of you.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's Angel Without Wings person is talking about. She's Miss Marie.
Miss Marie.
Okay.
Yeah, it is Angel Without Wings.
One of our regular listeners, by the way. Miss Marie, good morning to you and your husband and the rest of the family. Yes, Pastor Phil as well. And who's the other person?
Pastor Phil and his wife.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Pastor Phil and your wife? Yes.
Yeah. Somebody else chimed in, the last to chime in. She says, "Good morning to the entire Rev-Up family. Please say a special sweet 16th birthday to my dear daughter, Rowena." I hope I'm saying this correctly.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
That's her name, Rowena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tony knows the family.
Yes.
That's from Canaries, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Rowena. Yeah.
Happy 16th birthday to you.
Today's the 16th. That's right. That's right.
The person also went on to say, "Indeed, I'm proud of the young woman you're becoming. You are intelligent, compassionate, creative, and courageous. Whether you're standing up for what's right, chasing your passion, or simply making someone smile, may you shine bright where life takes you.
All
Love
right.
you loads, my
All
sweet
right.
girl. Thanks so much."
Her name is what again?
Rowena.
Rowena.
Yeah.
What's the mom's name again, Tony?
Ropina.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Unique. Very unique.
Yes, so happy 16th birthday, Rowena.
Oh, so someone else chimed in again. Oh, that's Sales Rub of Fiction. She was the one who said to say a blessed morning.
Oh, to Miss Marie.
Miss Marie, Mr. Rekai, Pastor Phil, and his wife.
Mr. Rekai. That was the other name.
Right.
Yes.
Sales, can you check me? Come and take something. I have something for you. I can't go to the back. Mwah.
So check you here at the
If
studio?
she can, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sultan. Yes, so you heard what she just said there. So we have 2 witnesses.
I have it with me, actually.
Okay, Sultan.
So
Good
please
stuff.
come get it.
Mhm.
That's the last person to chime in.
Ooh, okay. My turn. I was just trying to go through them as quickly as possible so that when I reach them, I know what's there. All right, beginning with Sharon Peter. She was the first to check in with us this morning. She
It's
says,
Wednesday, right, Tony?
You betcha.
Yeah.
Say the rest.
Hump day.
You got that right. No need for me to say anything else.
Sharon has been consistent, consistent with that hump day thing every
Yes, she
Wednesday.
has been every Wednesday.
What does it mean again? What does the hump day mean again?
It's the middle of the week or
It's
something
the
like
middle
that.
of the week, yeah.
Yes. So happy hump day to you, Sharon.
Yes.
And I think as a friend of ours, she mentioned yesterday. I don't recall the name.
I will.
She said she and her friend were listening.
Yes. They work together. Kim.
Okay, Kim.
Yeah, Kim. They work together. So
Yeah.
that's what she was talking about.
So
right?
spread the news, Kim.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had a great show here on Rev-Up Slu. So spread the word.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a friend of mine who was in the States, was still in the States, and she introduced, I think, 3 of her friends to what we were doing at Radio 100. And boy, they fell in love with the show. Yeah, they became regular listeners, and,
All right.
we became friends eventually.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we became
nice.
friends.
All right,
Mhm.
all right, all right. Proper. Okay, so Pius Snappy Man checked in and he says, good morning.
All right,
and
Pius.
Right. And Sharon gave me the big shout out as always. And she also gave Keena the big shout out. Now you have to include Andre in that, meaning like Tony. This one she put Keena.
That's okay.
Andre is next.
My turn will come. My turn will
Just
come.
imagine her actually doing it if she's around.
Mm-hmm. All right. Followed by Rolanda Rolanda Clary. Right. Rolanda Clary says, good morning, everyone. Sharon came right back and says, John Flavian, bonjour. I guess that's French, the person in Martinique or somewhere. She also says, bonjour, mon ami, JP Mehal. That's right, JP is in Martinique. She says also, Akama Sava. Akama is in France. And so she's telling Akama what's up. I guess reminding Akama to listen to Rev Up. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. Cecilia St. Marie Peter says, good morning, everyone. Sharon came back again and says, Tony, please give AP a cup of coffee. Sheena? LOL.
Coffee?
You remember at the beginning, right? When you said Sheena? Right.
Okay. Well, pick me up.
Pick me up, exactly. Like yesterday when I came in here, I was like, gosh, I should have had some.
Yes, you did.
Because the way I felt, like, whoa. All right. Moving right along, Nancy Graceland says, good morning, my favorite people. Andre, Doctor in the House was great.
Yes.
You definitely need to have a part 2, and please, 2 hours or more.
Yeah, he will be coming back to talk about mental health issues.
All right.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Followed by Barbara Xavier. Barbara says, good morning to all of you. Have a great day. Blessed love.
Hi, Barbara.
Lucy Blondell with a big emoji of laughter. Lucy, where have you been? Lucy used to listen to us at Radio St. Lucia, send requests and all of that. Lucy just disappeared, Andre.
Wow, so she's back.
It is good. Lucy, you're probably wondering, where do I find these boys? Right here at
Wow.
Rev-Up, if that's the case. So Lucy Blondell, we welcome you. Maybe you've been there all along but never really chimed in and never really said anything. But it's good to know that you are right there. By sending in a message, we know you are there.
Thank you, Lucy.
Right.
Great to have you.
Joan Shallery says, good morning, Andre, Tony, and Keena, and the chat room family. Lots of kisses, emoji kisses.
Kisses right back. Mwah.
All right. Terry Malanda. Hi, Terry. Good morning. Terry says, good morning, guys. I can't wait to get back home from work to listen to you guys. Tony, to get the song I ask you for on YouTube, you have to look for King Pele -It. This is how to find it. Well, yesterday, Keena found it, so I know come Saturday, I'm going to hook you up with your It by Pele.
I think it's called If.
My bad.
Yeah, If.
I think he put it. Yeah, maybe that's why I messed up. Yeah, he put it.
So that's maybe
But
why.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, If. We found it, and I will definitely play it for you. Once you are up, let me know that you're up, and I'm going to hook you up.
It's a rather interesting song.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, interesting. Well written.
Oh, gosh.
Well written, a double meaning.
That's right.
Yeah, and basically making you think, what if? What if? Kind of thing. Really, really, really. I mean, back in the day, that was a powerful song, man. Were you familiar with Pele, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. The Mighty Pele.
The Mighty Pele.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of which, hear that. Arthur Charles. You know, once you hear Arthur Charles, it's birthdays. Good morning, folks. Today is the birthday of the following persons. Mr. Chester Cash Hinkson.
Hey, he's celebrating his birthday today.
Happy
It is
birthday.
today.
Chester Hinkson, good morning to you, sir.
Right.
Happy birthday to you. He came to my. I was thinking of him a couple of weeks ago. He came to my thoughts. Yeah, just wondering how I haven't seen him for a while.
That's true.
He occupied a very, very big position back in the day at Bank of Nova Scotia. He was the
Scotia?
country manager. Yeah,
It was Scotia?
Scotia. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So that was a big position. In other words, he called the shots. Usually these banks have some expat, in those positions.
Yes.
Right.
But he, as a St. Lucian in that position, he called the shots. That's the thing about a country manager.
It's
You have power.
Yes. So happy birthday, Chester. If I were to say to you, I don't think Keena would know. Alvin Mathra. If you were to say that to me, I would go, Alvin Mathra. Alvin Mathra. Today is Alvin Mathra's birthday. A.K.A. A.G. Simpson.
Happy birthday, AG.
Yes, are
I
you
don't.
serious?
Oh yeah, I know him as Alvin.
Alvin, me too.
Yeah, I know him as Alvin, but I
Me
can't
too.
remember
As a
his
The
surname.
Matron, the Matron?
Yeah, I know
Alvin
him as
Matron.
Alvin. Happy birthday, AG. Mwah.
That is a lovely kiss from your home girl.
Yes. Happy
All right.
birthday, AG.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Slinger Francisco, a.k.a. the Mighty Sparrow, 90 years old today. Of course, we
Yeah.
we-
How do you explain something like that? All of a sudden, we just spoke about Sparrow. Today's his birthday.
Unbelievable.
Amazing. This is
And-
amazing.
And folks recognize what Andre is saying there. We did not know, because how would we mention Sparrow and not say his birthday?
Yeah,
We
exactly.
had
We didn't
no
know, we had
idea.
no idea.
Wow. Woo! Life is good. Coincidence. All right, who else? Lucita Jean-Pierre says, good morning to everyone. Andre and beautiful Keena. Jerome, I'm leaving on the jet plane. Don't cry, Sasho. Ma'am, Jane. So she's, look as though she's heading out.
Yes, Lucita. Yes,
Hi,
thank you very much
Lucita.
for the little visit. We certainly appreciate that. It was a short one, but so it's nice to have you in St. Lucia.
Yeah, man.
And thank you again for that bottle of water.
Yes.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, Tony, I'm telling you, I'm playing, I'm dying.
For sure?
I want to get something to drink, but
serious?
I can't leave. Because there's so many people at the
There's so
bar.
many people
Yeah,
at
at the
the
bar.
bar.
So
Oh.
if I try going, so I wish somebody just bring me some water.
Okay. So Lucita bringing you that water played a huge
Oh
role.
yeah, man, that's safe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Westy Duet says, good morning, my dear people.
Good morning, Westy.
Westy Duet says, these days, I wonder if any parenting style work. That's Westy Duet.
Yeah.
She goes,
There's no perfect,
exactly.
yeah,
Right.
but the authoritative
Mhm.
one seems to be the one that is the preferred.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, they're not perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, Lucita Jean-Pierre, good morning, everyone on the live and Radio Garden. Share the link. Doctor in the House was good last night. I wish more people would listen to the program. Not a Roro show. They're not interested. No wonder.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
Lucita.
true. It's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the Akama Gerald that I spoke about, who lives in France, she replies, she says, Sharon Peter, tout va bien chez oui. So she's right there. Then Lucida came back and said, Uncle Arthur, pleasant day and pleasant morning to you. Then Akama Gerald added a little more. Finally, I realized all the licks my granny gave me was the best thing that happened to me. Merci, ma moto. Akama Gerald, who is, like I said, in France. Septima Joseph says, good morning to you, Keena. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Septimo.
Comments.
Right back at you.
Salabang.
That's right. Kurt Mason just popped right up. He says, yeah, Tony. Kurt Mason, good morning to you. While we're reading. Okay, so Carmen Salapang says, blessings to you all. Great day ahead.
Blessings to you as well,
Blessings to you.
Miss Salapan.
In
Always
the-
a pleasure hearing from you.
In the Philippines.
In the Philippines. That's
Yes,
right. That's right. Thank you so much.
All right, so Elsa Hippolyte says, greetings to my Paul brothers, Keena, and all in the chat room. Good vibes. Have an awesome day. Thank you so
You
much.
as
for
well.
that.
Thank you.
Wested Wet came and says, children these days doing what they want, no matter what they have been taught. Akama Gerald says, having a child in France, I cannot correct the way I got it back home. Boy, I telling if only.
That's Akama?
Akama.
So Akama is St. Lucian.
Yes, she is.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right, Akama.
All right. Catherine McPhee says, good morning, Rev-Up team. Great discourse.
Morning to you, Catherine.
Good morning, Catherine, and to the husband as well. Good
That's
morning.
right.
And your son as well?
That's
Kisses.
right.
Mwah.
Mm-hmm. Wested Wet. Oh, Keena didn't know that you were going through that. All that time we were growing up in the yard. That's Wested Wet.
Oh, hi, Westy.
Mm-hmm. Marie Alfred says, good morning, Rev-Up team. Good discussion. Thank you, Marie. Nancy Graceland says, there's a vicious cycle in parenting, and we have to be very aware and take the necessary steps in breaking that awful cycle. Nancy Graceland. Peter Gillard. Hi, Peter. Good morning. He says, good morning, team. Rev Up. Listeners and viewers. Dreams don't work unless you do. Unless you do? Okay. Dream big, but make it a reality. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Thank you. Thank you, Peter Gillard.
All right, Peter.
Wested Wet. You see, growing up with someone doesn't mean that you know all that person. Now I am learning much, much more about Keena. All along, I thought that she was just a quiet and different from her siblings.
Yeah, I'm very, very quiet. I think when I spoke about my dad not being around and not having aunts and uncles, my mom is the only child. Yeah, so yeah, that's what he nobody knows.
All right. Nancy Graceland, Keena, a lot of us are damaged, and before we can be good parents, we have to fix our brokenness. But we don't make the effort to fix us because we think there is nothing wrong with us. Kenton Harry, there is a parenting handbook, and it's called the Bible, especially the book of Proverbs. That's from Kenton Harry.
The Bible is really good to,
There's a lot of wisdom inside
It's a manual for life.
But it can also be misunderstood because King Solomon said, spread a rod and spoil the child. I think a lot of people have misunderstood that, because that same rod, when you look at the book of Psalms, it says, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
They comfort me, yes.
So you see, it's so you know the amount of parents who have taken that thing there literally. So in other words, I'm not sparing any rod, you're getting it.
Okay. So Margaret Daniel, I was trying to go over this boy. Margaret Daniel Polius. Hi Margaret, good morning. Margaret says the quality you are talking, you can see it all. That in the beginning, and when settled, it's not there. And you're even surprised, thinking and saying that that's not the same person. Life is just unpredictable. Even looks like everything looks like it's not only everything looks like it's not only God can guide us. All right, see now. Okay, that's a little on the lengthy side. Now, God's willing. In order to receive His blessings, don't rely on God for freeness. It just don't work that way. That is why everyone says pray, pray, pray. If everything is still the same, because some pray is curse, pray. That's why it's not answering. Okay. All right.
Okay, Tony, you have 60 seconds.
That's right. So, Wested Wet, the way my parents raised me and the things that I endured, I could have gone on to hate them, but no, I looked at it as they didn't know better. In terms of the punishment I would get for petty things. Barbara Augustine says, my favorite people, good morning. I love the caps, blessed day. I was going to talk about that. Both of us happen to wear white caps.
Yes.
All in the chat room. Mervyn Shallery says, hello everyone. Catherine McPhee says, you have me in stitches, Andre. I hide my aches and pains too.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, so quickly, Keena, don't sell the man out like that. Lucita Jean-Pierre, the Donald making America great again, the big, beautiful Bill Mertz something pass. No more freeness for St. Lucians coming and give birth at Kings County Hospital. All right, Josiane Alexander says, Rev-Up blessings. West Idwet, I completely agree with the old man. Pay me my day helping you.
Yes. I agree with him too, yeah.
West Idwet, I bet you, the mechanic, never asked someone to help him again. Luther Al say the man worked and he needs to be paid. I agree. Iphigenia, Gina, gosh, we kind of mentioned you. Maybe it's the same thing you put in here. Not too sure. Paulinus Maximum, my boy checked in. Tony, I'm waiting for when y'all give me classics about yourself. Farakafo, Godmore, a.k.a. Blau, have a lot on you. LOL, bless up. Thank you, Paulinus. I appreciate that. Farakafo, he says, sup with you, bro. Pearl Food Baby Henry checked in as well. Also checking, I'm just going to give the big shout outs to them. Joan Shallery, hi Joan, good morning. Arthur Charles, sympathy, greetings to Andre to the passing of a longtime brother-in-law of his, Canis St. Martin. That's why do you laugh? There's something in there.
Want to give me a brother-in-law?
A brother-in-law. And so that's what he says. That's it. We're done.
Sorry about that. Give me a brother-in-law.
Yeah. Your brother-in-law pass.
For Charles, boy. For Charles.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so, Keena, what's coming up on the show today?
A new study suggests that raising daughters may raise mom's stress levels as opposed to sons. So I'll unpack that and what it means for parenting. I'm also looking at behind the science why drinking sugar hits harder than eating it. So there's a new study on that. And a global health report is linking small amounts of processed foods to major disease risk. And there's
Even a small amount.
A small amount.
Wow, imagine
A
that.
small amount?
Even a small amount.
And there's a new drug that could help dog lovers keep their dogs around for a long period of time.
When you say keep them around for a long period of time, what does that mean?
Extend their lifespan.
Also, the drug is for the dog.
It's for the dog.
Oh, I thought it was for the owner.
It's to extend the dog's lifespan. Yes, so there's a new drug for that now. And a new study is saying that it finds that low-income individuals are more likely to experience loneliness as opposed to people who are on the higher end of the spectrum.
So low-income earners more likely to experience loneliness.
Yes.
That's interesting. That is interesting. And of course, as you said, you're going to unpack that.
Yes, I'm going to unpack that as well. Yeah. And naps. I always sleeping. I'm always taking a nap when I get home, and scientists are now saying that naps are good for you.
Of course. Oh, yes.
I was forced to take one yesterday, man.
Yeah.
That's why I missed the doctor. I hate missing things. I swear to you, man.
You needed it. Sometimes your body takes it.
Yeah,
It's like, you know what, you really need to.
Okay.
And not forgetting One It Wonder, Rev-Up Slu News with Andre Paul, and more.
Alrighty, that's with Keena, and she'll be with you until 3 o'clock this afternoon. From 3 until 6, as always, my one and only son, Zen the DJ, until 6 o'clock this evening, from 3 until 6. And from 6 until 7, Tony Paul comes back with Rev Up the Homegrown. Now, Tony, I know you have some changes coming.
That's right.
Yes, I hadn't played. I saw the promos there. I said, let me wait until after today.
Yes.
Then we start moving on.
Beautiful. Sounds good. I like it.
Yeah.
So at 6 o'clock this evening, Rev Up the Homegrown. We're going to take a look at the Calypsos. Those who have made. I did it last week, but I want to really focus on it. Because the Calypso finals is this week and Saturday, to be precise. Before that is the Groovy and Power Soca Monarch on the Friday. So we're going to take a look at that and talk a bit about it and play some of the songs and so on. Now, come next week, Monday. Yes, next week, Monday. Rev Up the Homegrown shifts from to 11:30 a.m.
Just a quick question. When is Carnival Monday and Tuesday?
Very far from now. Well, not so far. You know how time flies.
All right.
The 21st and 22nd of July.
All right.
Yeah,
Good.
a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. So 11:30 a.m. next week, Rev Up the Homegrown. Keena and myself will be rocking it. Okay. Monday and Tuesday. So no more 6 p.m.
Yes. And the Friday is going to be
the top 10 homegrown.
And of course,
Friday.
the usual old school vibes.
Well, on the Saturday.
Saturday.
Old school jams.
Old school jams.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course, we said we have a couple of promos there, so you'll be constantly reminded. That's for sure. So we'll kick those off most likely tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, so Tony, thank you very much. Keena, thank you very much. And those of you listening and viewing, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate the company and the support that you give us. Thank you so much. Just keep it coming. Keep it coming. So this has been Hard Drive with the compliments of Rambali's Funeral Parlor, JJ's Paradise, and Joseph Shipping Agency. Joseph Shipping Agency, the only agency in St. Lucia with 24 hours efficient service. When everyone else is asleep, we're awake. Call Joseph Shipping Agency at 484-8888. That's 484-8888. At JJ's Paradise, we're now offering day pass specials for adults at a cost of $75 BC and children $45 BC, which includes pool access, 1 free drink, lunch, buffet style.
I was waiting. Let me tell you, I was waiting for him. Knowing the murder of my brother. Are you kidding me? I stood there just waiting for it.
So lunch, buffet style.
No, you
and
didn't do it the
dessert,
right way.
ice cream. Children over 12 years, you pay the adult price, which is $75 EC. And that's just so cool for a day pass.
Honestly.
Less than $100.
Yeah. JJ, you're doing it, man.
Wow.
You're leading the way,
Yeah, so you can also book a room while you're there for an additional $165 BC from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 721-7693. That's 721-7693. And book a day pass package at JJ's Paradise today. Towels not provided.
Walk with your own.
Yes. And, yes. So Hard Drive also brought you the compliments of Rambali's Funeral Parlor.
At Rambali's Funeral Parlor, we strive to bring you and your family the highest level of comfort, absolute satisfaction, and peace of mind during your most sorrowful time of need.
Our professional standards and